you know, all the different colored lights you can turn on, and you know how you can make the lights like flicker to the music that you're listening to.
So your perception of smart home stuff is lights and TV.
No, there's plugins too.
Okay.
You can
outlets, smart outlets.
Yeah, where you can connect to your phone and be able to turn your lamps and stuff on. I think that's neat. And you know, we caught a really good video of a little kid driving into the lake one weekend over at your house, and you could rewind it and watch it over and over and over again.
That was funny.
It was pretty interesting. But yeah, there's definitely good things about it. I think the biggest thing about something like that is the safety of your home, where you can have the cameras and be able to watch from your phone wherever you are. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You know, they can recognize faces.
What's the distance there?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean,
but
you have to look right into it. Like,
oh no, not at all.
Oh, well, I mean, that's how my computer is.
It will pick up a face. It will pick up the fact that it's a human face. Like, I want to say, like 30 yards away, and you can set up your phone to alert you, so that you know that there's a human coming on your property. That way, you're not getting alerts when like a raccoon's coming on your property.
Didn't you have something like that happen at night, and everybody freaked out?
No, I okay, and this is a solid point about smart homes. Like, you have to be savvy enough to set everything up properly, or have to have a company who is savvy enough to set everything up properly. Because I set up one camera properly to only notify me on faces, and I forgot to do it on the second camera. I thought it was like a universal setting for my whole system, but it was a per camera setting. And so I got an alert from camera 2, which was not set up, and yeah, it was the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, geez, we're in trouble here. We're under attack. And little did I know that there was a mosquito that flew in front of my camera 2, and we were all very safe.
I thought the story was somebody got dropped off, and they were just walking across your yard at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Different story.
Okay.
Different story, yeah. That also happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little too sensitive to motion then.
In the first story, where it was just a bug, yes, it was too sensitive to motion. In the second story, where there were people walking through my yard it was 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
They just took a shortcut through my side yard to get to their house, which was on the other side, and you know, everyone kind of freaked out because they didn't know what was going on.
The refrigerator's open. Sorry.
What do you mean the refrigerator's open?
I mean, just, I don't know. Something's gone. I was just in my own little world there.
I guess.
Okay, so what's some of these new components? Or are we just, you know, rolling with it?
The Philips Hue lights is probably the most widely used, popular smart home devices.
Is
it's
it?
the actual bulb, yeah.
Now,
Well, I wouldn't, maybe not Philips necessarily. They're the most advertised, let's say that. Philips is. But with
They're
that
sweet,
said,
too.
Philips is,
They're sweet too.
Yeah. With Philips being, I would say, the industry leader on smart bulbs. All these other companies have followed suit, though. So there's tons of options now. Philips, in my mind, is by far the most expensive. It's like $60 a bulb for the colored ones, I guess. They're more around $40 for the actual just regular light bulb, though.
now this is, okay, once again, I don't know a whole lot about this. So you're saying it's just a regular light bulb
Yeah.
that you can twist into a light socket.
Yeah.
And it works.
You're making a face like we're idiots, but
the bulb has a receiver in it, like say it's Wi-Fi.
And then you can connect as many bulbs as you want.
yeah.
But so what if you have 5 in your kitchen and you have 4 in your bedroom? You can somehow link those.
Yeah,
separate.
you go
You
in
can
and
separate
you
them.
teach your hub, okay, what light is where, and then you group them in rooms. And so I can turn my whole bedroom on and off. I can get into my bedroom. I can turn each individual light on and off. Or even in buying just the non-color bulbs, you still have an array of bright white to like a dim yellow that you can set your lighting to, and then you can dim everything as well.
Okay. So the most popular item you're talking about lights, but really it's a hub then, because you have to have a hub to do this, right?
In all smart homes, there has to be some sort of hub that it needs to connect to. Your hub's going to connect to your Wi-Fi, that then the hub will distribute all the signals it needs to do for all your smart home devices, the individual devices that you build upon it. Now, whether that be the Alexa, the tower version of the Alexa, or Philips has their own hub too that you can.
But you have to have the Philips hub
to
run
have the
Philips
full range of Philips. You can still run Philips
Hue lights
and stuff,
but
you're limited to the functionality because it's running off. So my lights are connected to my Alexa, so it's running off of Alexa's capabilities of their understanding of that light bulb. But that's across all light bulbs. Philips Hue will be like the music thing that you're talking about. They have it in their system to want to be able to use their lights how they're intended.
Okay, so if I'm a brand new to the smart home world homeowner, I'm about to build a house. Mm-hmm. Okay, what I want to know about smart homes is that they're each controlled independently. Every company that makes a smart home device, whether it be a doorbell or a smoke alarm or a camera or a light, makes it so that their component can be standalone. And so it's got a standalone hub in most instances, and it's also got a standalone user interface and app. Okay? But if I'm going to run multiple systems, I don't want to have to go into multiple different apps all the time. So I want some kind of foundational system that can talk to everything.
Yeah.
So when I go buy a smart home component, all I have to do then is check to make sure that that smart home component talks to my foundational system. Okay? So the 3 foundational systems that I know about, and Zach might know more about this than I do, is the Google Home, Amazon Alexa, and Bixby, which is embedded in all the Samsung smart home stuff and is part of our fridges. The Samsung Family Hub that we offer, that's a foundational system. And what I mean by foundational system is they're platforms that are built to recognize all these different apps, and they accept them, and then they interface with them really easily. So if I were to open up my Google Assistant app on my phone right now, or if I walk in my house and talk to Google, I can tell Google to interact with my Philips Hue lights, and it's going to be able to use most of the functionality. I can tell Google to lock my front door or mess with my thermostat, and it's a pretty seamless integration. So if I'm building a new home, construction-wise, the only thing I really need is space to put the physical hubs and power. Space to put the physical hubs, power, and Wi-Fi, and I would put those all in one location.
Yeah.
So if you could find a pantry is maybe not a good idea because you got a door on it, but a nook in your utility room or mud room, or hopefully not in your kitchen, but maybe in your office or something, where you could install 4 or 5 hubs, plug them into the wall, and they have really good access to your Wi-Fi, then you're set. So there's all these companies out there, these big track builder companies that are offering smart homes and all this, and really I think, in my opinion, from the research I've done, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but construction-wise, there's not a whole lot you have to do. Get some outlets, get a spot to put everything, a centralized location, and make sure your Wi-Fi signal's strong throughout your house, and you're really set up to be a smart homeowner.
Yeah, so far there's not really like any construction smart home stuff other than there's blinds that I guess if your builder wants to offer those.
Yeah, as a home builder, that's an add-on.
Yeah. So the only thing that I would want to do construction-wise, and this leads to what I wanted to, that I think they should develop more, is those outlets. Right now, they're just an extension of your original outlet. I hope in the future they can get to like flush-mounted outlets that you install.
Yeah, man, those got to be expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the extensions are expensive alone. They could be like $20 a piece.
Yeah.
And if you want that in every outlet of your home, yeah. But usually you're just attaching a lamp to it. It's the cheaper alternative route than to buy Philips Hue bulbs, because you can plug your lamp into it, and now all of a sudden that's a smart lamp.
But you're limited to one color,
Yeah.
which is a major problem in America today, because I need 50,000 shades of color on my lamp.
Fourth of July.
10 shades of blue.
And you can't really do a routine, maybe, depending on what plug you buy. So, like, when I say routine, I mean at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have my kitchen pendant lights turn on and slowly dim themselves to full bright by 6 o'clock. So there's such a gradual increase in the amount of light that's coming in that from minute to minute you can't tell. But from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, they're on fully finally. So as the kids are getting up and running around at 5 o'clock in the morning, starting to get around for school and stuff, there's enough light in the house, but it's not, blasting them as they sit down for breakfast. And then by 6 o'clock, when we're all awake and we're ready to head out the door for the day, the lights are on. And then you can also program everything like at 9 a.m., I forgot to shut off all the lights in the house, but I know everybody's out of the house already for the day. So at 9 a.m., shut everything down. That can be another routine. At night, you can have another routine. The lights need to, the front garage lights need to come on at dark and stay on all night and shut off in the morning.
You set this by your phone, though, right?
Yeah, and this goes back to, you set it, so I'm using Philips Hue lights.
You're using Philips Hue Hub to do that?
I'm using Philips Hue lights, backed by the Philips Hue Hub, and then my foundational system, I try to do everything on Google, because I've got a Google Home. So if I want to go in and I want to make, there's two ways I can make routines. I can do it on Philips Hue, or I can do it on Google. I like to do it on Philips Hue because I feel like I can be a little bit more specific with it. I don't know why I think that, but I just
don't think you can do the gradual thing that you were talking about through not, like, it has to be that brand of hub.
Yeah,
I don't think you could do it through Google.
Yeah.
You could set the scene of, like, hey, turn my lights on at a command. I know I have Alexa, so I can say, Alexa, good morning, and all of a sudden, whatever appliances I wanted to turn on or the lights will turn on, and it could give you a morning brief.
Yeah, so she knows that good morning's now a command for you to turn on 3 lights and start reading me my news.
Yeah. But like we said, to go in more in depth, you're using Philips Hue Hub to do that gradual thing.
Yeah.
Mine just turns on the lights.
Yeah, so I use the hub, the specific app, which is interfacing with the hub, to do really specific stuff like that. But I like to have everything hooked up to Google still, so I can say, hey Google, I'm headed to bed, lock my front door. Or when you're got 3 kids running around with your hair on fire trying to get out the door on time to head off to school, you can literally be running out the door and say, hey Google, turn off all the lights, and they're all.
You can lock your door.
Mm-hmm. They're smart.
So they have locks, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, and you can do them from anywhere too. So say you didn't get a chance to yell that out, and you were at work, and in the back of your head you're like, oh crap, did I lock the door? Did I shut off the lights? You just go onto your phone and look at the app, and you can hit all those switches and it'll lock the door, turn off the lights, and everything.
So Jesse, let's say you're going to build a new home.
Okay.
In the next 6 months.
Okay.
You've heard all the craze about smart homes. What would you want to know as a new home buyer about smart homes? Which smart components are important to you? It sounds like lights really aren't that important to you.
Lights aren't important to me. But I am a cook, and we haven't really talked about that, but you can preheat your oven before you can get home from work.
Yep, you can preheat your electric oven from your phone.
That'd be pretty important to me.
That's a weird one. If I could critique Samsung on anything, you have to put your appliances in smart mode first. So you have to have the foresight before you're leaving the house for today to walk by the oven and hit, hey, basically listen for my smart signal. Once you hit that button, it's on all day. But then and only then can you get on your phone at 4 o'clock at work and preheat the oven to 450 or whatever.
Why don't you just keep it on all the time then?
It shuts off.
Yeah.
It does?
Every time you use the oven and turn the oven off, it will shut off. So you'll have to get in the habit of hitting oven off, smart on, which is not a big deal. But it seems silly to me that you need that trigger.
Yeah, I think it's just their fail-safe. Because it's my phone, someone shoves their phone in their pocket, and all of a sudden it turns on the oven. I think it's just them being fail-safe, but yeah, that is an annoying
But why a
feature.
dishwasher? Their dishwashers are the same way.
It's the same way on the dishwasher?
Yeah.
I knew it was for the oven. That's weird.
Yeah.
It kind of defeats the purpose of monitoring your stuff all day.
Yeah, it's a little annoying.
Now, as a new home owner, I think the whole security thing would be more important than anything. The ability to get on my phone and see the perimeter of my property would be great.
So, okay, so let's talk about cameras. I'm a Google camera guy.
There's tons.
Yeah, there's tons. But I can be in my kitchen. Kids can run by me and say, hey, I'm going outside to play. And let's say I live on a busy road and I like to keep my eye on them or something. All I have to do, I'll keep cooking. I'll keep cutting up the onions I was cutting up, or, rubbing my pork shoulder. I got meat all over my hands. I can't immediately walk over and turn on the TV. So all I have to do is say, hey, Google, stream my driveway camera to my living room TV. And Google will tell my Chromecast, which I've got plugged into my TV, to turn on the TV and to tune in to my camera. And then I can watch the kids outside and make sure they don't get too close to the road. And that's all aftermarket stuff, and it's super easy to set up. Super easy.
Especially when you stay in line. You have all the Google, which Google acquired Nest not too long ago. And so now those are all definitely Google compatible, but with you sticking with Google, it makes I've noticed when you stick with those products, it's so much more seamless.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, if to go back to the beginning, is get your construction right, which is very simple. Just basically prep a room in your house to have enough outlets, or buy a couple surge protectors, I guess, if you forgot to do that. Make sure you have dedicated space for it. And, in my world, make sure you can get it, install it, and make it look clean and tidy so you're not stressed out by a bunch of cords all the time. So that's super easy. Tell your builder to help you walk through that. That's simple to do. And then after that, go buy a really good Wi-Fi router or even a mesh system, which sends Wi-Fi throughout the house and, dedicates itself to whatever it's using really easily.
Yeah.
And then when you go to buy that first product, just make sure it works with whatever foundational system you want to work with.
Yeah, I would pick your foundational system first.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do research on what external products you want to keep adding to it, but a good base on, basically it's picking between, do I want to run a Google system or Amazon Alexa, which they both will work, all those products. It's just what your preference is. It's based on preference.
Yeah.
But I would start there.
Okay, I guess I have two questions from what you just said. One, how many outlets would you need if you were to try to think in the future and say, hey, I want to put this here? I mean, it sounded like you need 20. I mean, when you say resets in an area, what kind of area, how many resets?
Well, I put everything in a cabinet so that it's out of sight. Well, some people would tell me that I shouldn't put my systems in a cabinet because then they're interfering with wood as they go to try to reach my house. So, maybe you can find a spot in your house, like I said, in your utility room that's a little more out of sight. Maybe you design your washer and dryer to be a foot over from where you were going to put them, and then you put an open bookshelf in the bottom, in your base cabinet with one quad outlet up on the top shelf and one quad outlet on the bottom shelf. You're probably going to be able to operate everything you need to operate off there, but worst case scenario is you could run 2 surge protectors, which you might want to do on those expensive products anyways. So I'm saying put them in a place where you can get them out of the way. You're going to have power to them. You don't necessarily have to put them in a cabinet to totally hide them like I did, which may interfere with my signal sometimes. Just think ahead a little bit is my only point. Where would you want to put them? And then where can I keep my, walking through my utility room and seeing 50 wires tangled up together would stress me out. That's not a peaceful way for me to live my life. So I'm just saying, think about it ahead of time. It would be step one for me. Talk to your builder about it for 2 seconds. It's super easy to do. And then the next step is go pick your foundational system.
Okay. Question 2 then would be, 1, how much is just the hub? And 2, if you were to, the thing that I like the most would be, say, lights, the camera system, and one we haven't talked about yet, but I'm pretty sure you can even do your sprinkler systems.
Yes, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, sprinkler systems, because if I'm a new homeowner, I'm probably going to have new sod or something out there, so I'm going to want the grass watered frequently.
Yeah.
So I guess those are my questions there. So if I want to do the lights in the house, if I want to get the hub, if I want to get a camera system, and I wanted to put my sprinkler system on something like that, what would that cost be? What you mentioned, $20 a light bulb?
Yeah, the lights are the really expensive question you're asking. Are you talking about getting 2 lights? Are you talking about getting pendant lights over your island that are accents? Or are you talking about 10 lights for your whole kitchen?
Yeah, I'm talking like, okay, I mean, I'm just talking
You can spend
Rochester
$1,000
Homes.
in lights fast.
Yeah, Rochester Homes, you're standard with anywhere from, 5 to 10 can lights in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and then putting 4 in the bedroom. So, right there, you're looking at the most 14.
Okay, Zach's going to look at 14 Philips Hue lights on his computer while we talk about the other components.
Okay.
So, let's say I want to pick out a foundational system of a Google Home. Okay, and I want to buy the Google Home that I can actually see a little bit of video on so that I can stream my camera to it. So, we're just going to get on internet here, and it looks like you can get a Google Home Hub for $125. Let's go.
Oh, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be.
No, let's look at the Google Home Max.
Now, are there different steps of how much you can run off of each one, though?
Different steps of what?
Like capacity of that hub?
No, not that I've
It's all
seen.
pretty much the same thing.
So the Google, the Google Home Hub Max, the one you can see video or whatever, you're talking about $300 max you're going to have into that. And then you asked about cameras. You can buy 2 Google outdoor cameras, not the smartest version of their cameras, but actually the entry-level version of their cameras. I think you can get 2 of them for about $250. You can get a door lock for about another $300 roughly if you're looking at like the Yale door lock that works with the whole Nest system. So I think the bottom line here is that for $1,000 to $1,200, you're going to be able to get your foundational system, install a couple security cameras, install a door lock, and then you're going to have your choice on lights, which to me are a little bit of a security measure. If I'm away and I can control my lights either erratically if I really want to, or I can at least set them on to, have a routine. Then let's say you spend another $1,000 in lights because you want your whole kitchen lit up and you want your whole bedroom lit up. So for $2,200, you have a smart home and you have a pretty decent grasp on security. And you can then link an actual security system into it as well. So you can go out and shop ADT or one of the other big home security suppliers, and they'll link in and work with all these apps. Samsung specifically, I believe, works with ADT really well. If you choose to go with like Bixby and Samsung as your foundational app. So, like I said, if you want to buy a Samsung smart fridge with the family hub in it, you've already got the foundation built in right there. You can control your ADT security system. You can control your lights. You don't have to go with Google cameras, but you can go with another brand, or you can hook the Google cameras into them.
So your refrigerator already has your hub in it.
Yeah, but I already had another hub before I got that refrigerator. So I've never hooked up the refrigerator hub solely because I already had another system running. And like Zach said, I happen to like Google, and I like to try to stick within the continuous Google stream then personally.
So whatever hub you choose, you're actually picking the brand name to run with as well.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
You can
most
deviate.
products will talk across hubs, but
The only
I'm
time
a
you're
weird
gonna
little control freak, and I like to stick within my lane.
Yeah, the only time you're ever going to run into problems is when you go into like these, I don't know what to call them, third-party hubs. So like there's a system called Wink, and it's basically like a Wi-Fi router. It's nothing too special or anything. They didn't put too much into it. So these companies like Philips and Nest and all them, some of them may be compatible, but if you go with a Google or an Amazon, pretty much every product's going to talk to them, because everybody wants to be compatible with those 2 major brands. So those are the 2 safe options, I guess.
Yeah, but sprinkler systems you mentioned, I mean that's next level.
How does that work?
So instead of normal sprinkler control box with a dial on it, maybe that you'd go walk out to, and you could program them. I mean, they're already probably fairly smart. You can set timers. You can probably set 3 or 4 different loops on them, so you could do a morning run, you could do a mid-afternoon run, you could do a night run if you really wanted to. Most boxes are set up that way anyways. This just gives you the ability to do all that from your phone. You don't have to walk out from the box, so you can change it from the fly, and it starts to interpret weather intelligence now. So if there's a forecasted big storm coming, it might go ahead and tell me, it's going to tell me and give me the choice, but it will tell me, hey, I'm going to skip your night loop because I don't want to waste your energy, your power in watering. I don't want to waste your water per se, and I don't want to over drench your lawn. So can I go ahead and skip your night loop because we got rain coming in? So it will predict based on weather patterns whether or not it actually needs to run that cycle you want to run or not. And what mine's ratio, how do you say that? I don't even know. It's a great one. I love it. It actually asks you while you're setting it up what kind of soil type you have. So my old, Hunter or Rainbird, whatever it was, control box, it didn't know. So this is asking what kind of soil I have, and then it's trying to help me. Okay, if I've got loamy soil versus clay soil, I'm going to water differently depending on what you've got, so that I don't, again, overwater, underwater, all that.
Now, where would you get something like that at?
You can buy all of this stuff at Best Buy. You can buy all of it on, or most of it, I should say, on like the Amazon store, the Google store.
Best Buy has sprinkler systems?
Best Buy has the sprinkler head box. So you'd have to, as a new homeowner, you have to have a sprinkler company come out and install your sprinkler system. And then when they get to go install your head, you either let them do it and you use it and you see if you like it, or you say, hey, don't install my head, install this smart unit. Or they may say, hey, you got to install a smart unit on your own, but they'll walk you through it. That's one of the more intimidating ones, in my opinion. When I got that one, I was going, okay, I don't really know sprinkler wire. It's all simple low voltage systems, so it wasn't that intimidating, but it was like, I don't want to cross my zones, yada, yada. But I just went off my existing system, marked the wires, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, whatever, pulled them all out of the box, installed my new smart box, hooked them up, and then ran everything through a test run. It took, all in all, it took 30 minutes. Even though I was intimidated to do it, it took 30 minutes, and it was well worth it.
Man, that's crazy. I just now figured out that it has nothing to do with the sprinkler heads.
Mm-hmm. No.
You're saying it has just a box, like an entrance box or an electrical panel.
Yeah.
And that's what controls everything.
Yeah, just like a sprinkler.
So you don't have to change the heads out or anything that. To where.
No, I'm sorry. When I was saying head unit, I meant the control box.
Okay.
Yeah, that was confusing.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, this is the main control box that any sprinkler system has. You can take that off the wall, and you can install a smart control box. The one I have.
So you don't have to tear your yard up or change heads or anything
nothing.
Like that.
Yeah, nothing like that. And when you get really good at all this, and your wife texts you and says, "Hey, I'm going to mow the lawn real quick," you can open up your app. Open up your camera app. See, there she is right in the middle of the yard. I got a second. Close that app. Open up your sprinkler app. Turn on the sprinkler system. Close that app. Open up your video app again, your camera, and watch you spray your wife with the sprinkler system.
It sounds like you've done this before.
I've done it. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah. She doesn't really like it, but it's pretty funny for me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm interacting with my home, but again, I didn't have to do anything different on construction. I, went out and read reviews and read instructions on the different components I wanted. They're all aftermarket. They're all pretty easy to install, and I'm handling it all from my phone.
The apps are super informative, though. Anyway, too, like it's a step-by-step thing. You can't deviate away from when you're setting up stuff. You can't deviate away. Like the app's going to tell you, like, hey, do this, this, and this. And then it will connect everything for you. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions just because I find it very interesting. But when we say smart home, we're not necessarily talking about just everything that links to the hub, though, right? We're talking about maybe, I know we offer the vacuum cleaner that's smart. It reads the outline of your house.
Yeah. So I don't know of any like real hard line in calling something a smart home versus not calling something a smart home, other than like I've heard before, if you have 5 smart things, then you're a smart home. You know, you could market your house through a realtor as a smart home. So whether those are outlets or cameras or lights or vacuum cleaners or a range,
lawn mowers,
it's just things that are hooked up to Wi-Fi, that are hooked up to the Internet of Things. Yeah, lawnmowers. Husqvarna just came out with a reasonably priced automatic lawn mowing system that you don't have to touch. It's like a Roomba or the Samsung vacuum that we've got out in the model center. You run it from your phone. It docks itself. It cuts all the time.
I just thought of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Don't know why. Well, I do know why, but you remember that movie?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, I veered off. Squirrel moment, but. So
what made you think about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, though? The
because
vacuum?
the lawnmower.
Oh, that's not man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the lawnmower. How that kid comes over because he said that he could use his lawnmower to mow the yard.
Yeah.
Because it was remote control. This is when they were shrunk in the grass. And
I forgot that it was remote controlled.
Yeah. So the guy's standing up on the porch doing the remote control lawnmower, and all these little kids running in the grass are trying to get away from it.
Yeah. So
that's what I thought. Sorry.
You got to be careful if you've shrunk your kids to not let your automatic lawnmower kill them. That's a good point, Jesse.
Huh?
Things you need to watch out for as a new consumer looking at smart homes.
Note to self.
So we've covered cameras for the most part. That's one thing too. You could prep your house during construction time a little bit better for outdoor cameras if you have powered cameras versus battery powered cameras. So first of all, know what you're going to get, and then if you're going to get a powered camera, you know, you might want an exterior weatherproof GFI outlet installed like in the soffit of your house, somewhere up high where somebody couldn't tamper with it easily without being exposed to the camera first, and somewhere where it's just really, really easy to install the camera. So that might be one thing that you might prep a little bit better that I'm talking about during the time of construction. You know, and lights, under cabinet lights are another good thing. You know, the Philips Hue under cabinet lights are killer. It's a ribbon style light. It sticks on the tape. You can do a million different colors with it.
So it's wireless.
No, it's a power plug-in though. It's a regular normal 110 outlet plug-in. So like what I do is I install it on the underside of the cabinet, and then I run up through the cabinet, drill up through the bottom of the cabinet and up through one of the shelves, and run it up, you know, to the microwave circuit or whatever. So if you want, you know, if you know you're going to get that light, maybe you could have a couple outlets installed in the lower parts of your cabinets on the interiors, so you didn't have to drill holes. You know, you could do that, or you could have them installed. You could have outlets installed above the cabinets. We have a lot of customers do that, and then they can put above cabinet lighting up there without having to run wires down through cabinets and all that stuff. So, I mean, outlets, get yourself plenty. They're inexpensive to add a bunch to every house, and interior and exterior. That's maybe a lot of the prepping that I would do.
10-4. I do see a lot of outlets put above the overheads now that you mention it.
Yeah, a lot of people like to do Christmas lights up there and stuff, but now with the smart home tech, you can really get some cool, you know, you could do Sonos speakers up there. Those are all wireless. You don't have any speaker wire running with those, so it's just 110 outlet. You hook it up, and your whole kitchen's wired for sound. Speakers, there's about 1 million out there in there, and like most of the foundational hubs are speakers.
Yeah, I have the Echo Plus, and mine's got, I mean, it's a huge speaker in itself. Even the Echo Dot, which is my extension. So I have the hub, and then I extend throughout the house in each room I'm at. So each room is technically smart, you know, where I'm at. And yeah, those are all speakers. It dubs as a speaker system throughout my house now, too.
Mm-hmm.
So each room that you go into, you have to link to it individually then? Is that what you're saying?
No, they all talk to each other, though. They may be in different rooms, but they're all talking on the same...
Gotcha.
Same circuit.
We go back to the whole hub thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the only thing you need to do is when you install a new device, you need to go into your hub system and name it and tell it what it is, because it doesn't inherently know.
You want to know where I am at in my life right now with smart stuff?
You have an Echo Dot.
Yeah, and I have it linked to a speaker. And that speaker hasn't worked for about 3 months.
I thought the Echo Dot was a speaker.
Well, that's all I listen to now because I can't get it to link to the big speaker anymore. So I said, screw it. I'll just listen to the little guy.
What kind of speaker is it?
The bigger one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just one that is Bluetooth that I got from Walmart.
Okay. It's Bluetooth.
I'm experimenting with Bluetooth. I don't know how well that actually works.
Yeah. Everything I'm talking about has been Wi-Fi stuff. Because Bluetooth, you can lose your link, right? Power goes out.
Super easy for Bluetooth
Well,
to be disconnected.
What I have found is anybody can link to it if you're not linked. Or Bluetooth to it, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
To your Echo Dot?
So, for instance, if my wife and I are sitting in there listening to music and she plays from her phone, I can't Bluetooth to it and play from my phone anymore until she gets on hers and takes it off. And then I can Bluetooth to it.
Yeah, see, that's the beauty of using Wi-Fi connection and the beauty of using these big name companies whose job is to keep you safe and encrypted and stuff is they've built in safety steps to where nobody can come in and like take over your system. So like in order to take over my lights, you'd have to physically enter my house, which is well guarded and with both security cameras and weapons, by the way. And then you'd have to physically click the hub.
Yeah.
You'd have to click the Hue hub in order to try to take over my lights. So
are you the only one that has control of it, or does Lindsay also?
No, I family share. Yeah, most of these apps are designed to family share.
Really?
And then of course we're using voice via the main hubs, the Google Home hubs and the mini hubs, to talk to them. So even though my kids don't have a phone and they can't get on the Philips Hue app, they can turn the lights on and off until I want to teach Google Home their voices, which you can do now. And so I could take control away from the TV from them if I want to. If they got to be a problem with turning the TV on all the time when I didn't want them watching TV, I could teach Google their voice and take away that power.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's getting to be pretty ridiculous. And like I said, none of this has been hard to install or hard to learn. All these interfaces are intuitive. And if you have a problem, jump on Google and chat with an expert for 20 minutes and they'll walk you through it.
Or YouTube. My big thing, I learn everything through YouTube. There's some tech review company or person that will tell you step by step and how to troubleshoot it at the same time. Yeah, so there's so many options out there to be able to troubleshoot this stuff.
Yeah, and the cool thing, about all this is just this connectivity. I'm connected to my home when I'm away from it. So if I'm on vacation or I'm at work and I need to check on something, I check on it. I need to make sure my yard's maintained, I check it. Just everything's easier to do. And then, I'm also more connected to my family because of it. Calendars and sharing and stuff, all that on the Samsung fridge we've got makes life a lot easier. I understand what's on the family calendar all the time. It's right there in the fridge. I can ask Bixby about it if I want to. The Google Home Max Hub or whatever it's called that I was talking about, you can make calls to your family and FaceTime with them. It's not FaceTime, it's a Google chat, I guess.
Is it the Hangout?
Yeah, you can do Hangouts with my family that lives in Indianapolis without driving 2 hours. I can call my mom and see her face to face and talk to her. It's a cool world out there, Jesse. It's time to jump in.
You haven't even talked about your favorite appliance yet, or smart home device. Your thermostat.
That one's not my favorite smart home device, actually.
You don't like, or it's not thermostat?
I love the thermostat. I'm personally not getting the use out of it that a lot of people will get out of it.
Okay.
So we're talking about the Nest Learning thermostat. It's cool, it's sleek, it was easy to install, and of course I can control it with my phone, and I can control it with my voice at home. So I walk in the door, it knows I've walked in the door because it's reading my phone signals now in the house. So if I haven't already told it, like if it hasn't already learned that I get home at 5, then when I walk in the door, it will, if it's gone into sleep mode, it will wake itself back up. Mm-hmm. So let me back up there for a second. So I want to run a really energy efficient house, so I can program the Nest Learning thermostat. Let's say I'm a single male who's got a 9-to-5 job. Just walking around my house, it will learn that I'm home up until about 8:50 when I leave for work, and then at 8:50 it will start to drop the temperature. Let's say it's winter and it's 30 degrees outside. It will start to drop the temperature as much as I want to let it drop to. So I normally keep my house in the winter, let's say at 68. I want to drop it down to 60 while I'm gone for the day so that my furnace isn't running all day long when I'm not there. Then it will know, because there's no more activity in the house, there's no more motion walking by it. It will drop down, and then it will eventually learn that I get home at 5:10 every day. So instead of just waiting until 5:10 to kick itself back on because it's all motion, it will anticipate that, and it will start itself back up at 4:15 or 4:30, so that when I walk in the door, it's 68 again. So if you
68?
can... In the winter?
Oh, okay.
What do you keep your house at?
71. 72. Wow, that's cold. Sorry.
Well, I got a lot of people in my house too, so I get natural heat.
It's almost scary. I don't know if it's cool or scary.
Well, that one...
Well, I got a product that makes it even more for you.
Okay.
There's a company called Keen, and they're a smart home airflow system. And it's the actual vents. You have to reinstall different vents, but it will control where your air conditioning or heat's going based on room. You put these sensors in every room, and then you can say, like, hey, I like to be a lot cooler in my bedroom when I'm sleeping and stuff, so like keep this room at 70 degrees. Out in the kitchen, say your kitchen living room's the big open area, like it doesn't get you don't need it to be as cool. You can keep that at 73 or whatnot.
I think that's awesome. You got an office that you don't use often.
Yeah, you
set
can
it at
keep
65.
Yeah,
I think that's a killer system. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, I don't get to use the Nest as much because I've got a family running around at home.
Yeah.
You know, I've got little ones that are still home all day long, so I don't get the financial benefit that a lot of people could get out of it. But I do love, you know, when I'm traveling with my family and we're 4 hours away from home, being able to log on and kick the furnace back up after it's been down, you know, while we were out on an RV trip or whatever for the weekend. So there's a lot of cool features with the thermostat.
Yeah.
And a lot of these thermostats will talk to your phone, talk to your hub, whatever. So it's cool.
Crazy. I mean, I'm just doing another research. The leak detectors is the new thing that I've
Yes,
seen.
that's another brilliant one.
What is it?
Leak detectors. There's a bunch of different ones. The coolest one I've seen is by a company called Flow, and it hooks up to your city line,
Yeah.
and it will use pressure inside your lines to even detect little drips that are happening inside your walls, or it doesn't have to be right next to the appliances that use water. It's inside your walls, can monitor how much water you're using. So maybe you're very a stickler on your kids just running water constantly. It will notify you on the phone that hey, something in your house is using a ton of water right now.
Yeah,
It'll tell
you're
you
out
how
of
many
whack.
gallons per minute or whatnot's going, and
Yeah.
it was insane.
Yeah, that one's awesome too.
Yeah, and then there's the cheaper route is they actually make these it's the size of a computer mouse, and you just set it next to your most likely leak areas. So right by your washer, that could a pipe or a fitting could come loose and start leaking. It just sits on the floor, and as soon as any moisture is around there, it'll let you know hey, some moisture is going on.
So it's just that's a physical leak sensor. Water has to hit it.
It has to be in those areas. That's the downside of those is with the Flow one I just talked about, it's monitoring everywhere that there's water.
But with the sensor, it's also totally aftermarket. I could go take it and put it in a 100-year-old house.
Oh yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's
with no construction whatsoever. Versus the Flow, it sounds like you need to have purchased that prior to building your home because your plumber needs to install that when they do your main water
that's the
hookup.
thing that they said is it's got to be installed by a plumber for the first time.
Yeah.
After that, it's easy to replace if something would break on it. But for the first time, it's got to be, you have to have an expert install it. But yeah, the other ones are super easy. You just connect them to your phone, set them on the ground. And they have a 2-year lifespan, battery-wise.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I really like that one. I haven't heard too much about the water sensors, but that's a technology that can that can save you money.
Oh yeah,
Even just in the cost of your insurance
Mold
deductible.
and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Know where the water leak is before the mold.
Yeah.
Well, one of their selling points is, I think, depending on your insurance, you can get your insurance cost to go down a little bit because you're having a safety measure within your house, and then by monitoring your water usage and stuff, you can also save your money on your bills alone.
Well, just wait
if you can execute
wait until it's required by insurance companies
to have one of those.
Yeah, and why wouldn't they? I mean, they're underwriting the risk for you, so eventually they're going to start to require this stuff. There's electrical monitors too. We haven't talked about that, but you can actually put an electrical monitor on your breaker, and you can watch throughout the day when your energy peak usage is, what you can do to fix it. You know, this appliance runs too often. We need to cut back our usage, or it's draining too much juice without even being used. I just need to unplug it more often. I mean, it's the stuff that you can monitor with these houses is insane.
Man, my insurance should go down then.
Yeah, tell them about it. Sell them on it, Jess.
I'll talk to Blake Hardesty.
I mean, that sensor was only, the Flow one's only like $400.
Yeah, and like I said, how much is the deductible on a policy for a leak?
Yeah.
You're going to spend $1,000 just to get the insurance company in there, and then your prices might go up.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the hub thing. The hub might be disappearing here soon. This company called Juno is creating a can light that has Amazon Alexa inside the can light.
Oh, gosh.
And it's also a speaker.
Too far.
How's it too far?
That's my line right there.
Yeah, but do you want your Alexa to be like in your living room? Or, okay, your Google Home. You just want
It's not a cabinet anymore.
It's a mini.
But it's
a little
sitting
baby thing.
But it's sitting out on your counter.
They're pretty. You can get them in coral.
Yeah, but now it can be disappeared.
Well, it doesn't disappear. That's why I actually looked into that. You had tipped me off about this a little bit. I looked at it. I don't like the way it looks.
It does look a little bulky.
Aesthetically, it's just...
But you only need one of them. You see the other lights, though, too?
And then that's the other thing. I got one can light in a room of 4 that looks
has
goofy.
this blue ring around it. I don't know. I think it's a cool direction. Let's say that. I do think the design's a little bulky, but they're also fitting. Maybe they take out the speaker and it looks a little better because they fit speakers into them too. So now you have a speaker system throughout your house inside your ceiling.
That is pretty neat, and it's all... There's no speaker wire, right?
No, because it would all be in your ceiling. I mean, if there is any wire, it's using the same wire that you would for the lights. For the lights, yeah.
I don't know. That one's still too far.
I don't even think they're in production right now. It was one of those like CES products which is the big tech convention that people go to, and they just like, here's our prototype for this like all-in-one smart home light.
Yeah, I mean, I get where they're coming from. Honestly, what I like least about it is you've installed an actual can. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you've just jumped past most consumers' ability to take it in or out of the house. You know, with a hub, with a light bulb, with a light strip, even with most of the things we've talked about today. I think besides maybe the sprinkler control unit might be a little advanced.
Yeah.
Probably the smart home water monitor that's actually hooked up to your main bullhorn.
Yeah.
That might be a little bit... Well, that is probably too advanced for 90% consumers out there. But, I mean, if I have to take a can out of my ceiling to fix a problem, I'm already upset. Versus I've got a Philips Hue light bulb that's screw in, screw out, and I've got a plug in, plug out, Google Home speaker or Sonos speaker or whatever.
Well, I definitely think if you went that can route, it's got to be... That's one of those things that you got to plan for while you're building your house.
Yeah,
it's not one of those... It's not... I don't think it's an upgradable feature. It's a brand new construction feature,
and you're fixed into that.
Yeah,
to get that
I think
out
the
of
housing's even different.
Yeah,
like it's not a standard housing for a can light. I think it's a lot bigger because it's fitting all those, the speaker, all the extra parts of it.
Yeah, and then like the other thing that would scare me about that, and they've probably thought this out already, would be heat.
Yeah,
I've got a light, a speaker, and then I've got insulation back behind that.
Yep. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking when you said you put it in a cabinet. I would think there'd be a lot of heat.
Yeah, there's a little bit of heat in that cabinet. Sorry, Jesse. I'll look for a better spot.
Tell you what.
That's why you got to have a smart home smoke and carbon monoxide detector.
Oh, those are cool too. Simply Safe is using a lot of those now.
That way it will text you when you're sleeping and tell you that there's a fire at the foot of your bed. I don't have those, by the way.
I have a smoke detector. It tells me every time Chrissy's cooking.
I'm going to stay away from that one. I'm going to be a smart person here, not a smart home, and walk away from that comment.
Oh goodness.
Zach, what other products are out there on the forefront?
Simply Safe is making huge strides in the home security.
Are
I know
they?
we kind of talked about home security.
Seems on brand with them. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're diving in head first with it, and it's mostly their starter package that they're going with, which is like the one that we've seen before. The Samsung had their starter package. It's pretty much the same products, which is only this one comes with a keypad now. So it's like you're installing an actual, and I wouldn't say old, but a keypad's traditional for most security systems when
Yeah.
smart homes traditionally don't have a keypad because you're just monitoring it from your phone. But this one has a keypad.
Google came out with one too.
Really? A
Yeah.
keypad version?
Yep.
Or just home security?
No, the
version?
keypad version.
This and a motion sensor, and then the open and closed door sensor. That's the cool one. There's a magnetic field. You put one on like the trim, and then one stuck on the door. And if the magnetic field ever breaks, it'll notify you in your phone that like, hey, someone entered and you can label that door. Someone entered the back door, or someone entered the front door, which is pretty. I thought that one was pretty cool.
Get your shotgun out, Jess. That's what your phone's going to say to you. You're going to hear Siri yell at you. Load up.
Need to get a smart shotgun. It sounds like.
I don't think they're going to come out with those.
I doubt it.
But then they build on top of those, and they have the cameras like everyone else, but the glass break sensor is what's new that I haven't seen before recently. It's just a little square thing that I guess you would put on your windows, and it feels the vibration, or a huge vibration, if someone were to break
I
glass,
think Anderson is starting to offer that with their windows.
like inside the window.
I don't know if it's a lock, if it's a smart lock, or if it's an actual glass break sensor. We'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, because
Kind of
that.
like what he was saying with the door. If the window opens, it will alert you.
Right.
Yeah, you can technically use those door
about
breaks for a
anything that
window.
opens.
Yeah, for anything that opens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. If you want to make sure your kids don't get in your cabinets, put them on all the cabinets.
You're just getting text every 25 seconds. If you have a baby crawling around opening every window, that'd be terrible.
I think he's referring to Brody getting into the cabinet with all the treats.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think the Anderson product is open close
Open
sensors.
close sensor.
Yeah, and they're using a Yale lock on their doors too. If you want to go for that, which is Yale's, what Google's talking to, anyways. So
Well, then the doorbell too. That's been my favorite product that I haven't used yet. But just seeing it, to me, I think it's one of the better products.
you like the doorbell,
Yeah,
really?
I think having a camera on your doorbell is probably the greatest thing ever.
I like the camera portion about it. I understand that from a security perspective.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Security. The actual doorbell function. I don't think anybody really uses doorbells anymore. But the camera on your doorbell for people that, like you can see when your packages arrive, and then you can monitor your package because
Yeah.
there's times where, like here, like our lunches are at random times. Whenever you can find a time that maybe.
Whoa! You're taking a lunch?
Oh yeah. But you can see when with my packages, I don't know. With me moving in, I don't know how I have the feel with the new place I'm in yet.
Yeah.
It seems safe, but I don't want to get too comfortable at the same time because
Yeah.
it's not like in town. It's kind of just outside.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying from a security perspective. That, and if you have the camera and the door lock hooked up, somebody could show up at your door and ring the doorbell, and you could pick it up on your phone and say, "Hey, I'm at work right now," or "I'm at Inyards right now," or they could be like, "Hey, I was dropping off some food for you, Jess. Cooked you this amazing rack of ribs, the number one smoked rib cooker in
Where'd
the
you get my ribs at?
county." Myself could be dropping them off for you, and you'd be like, "You know what? Let me unlock the front door for you, so you can put those on my counter because I want to eat those because they're incredible." You could do that all from your phone.
You don't miss packages anymore. I don't know how often you have to sign for packages. I've had one since I've moved, but I was stressing out. Because, it was I understood why there needed to be signed for what it was, but it's like, I didn't know when they were coming. So you just have to cross your fingers, but with the doorbell, at least you could try to maybe barter with them to stay there for a second.
Wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
$1 a minute. I'll be right there.
No, that's
And those are. I mean, doorbells are aftermarket too. You don't need to do anything construction wise.
well. It seems like all the doorbells that I've seen are all wired for some reason.
Oh, I'm
Smart.
seeing battery ones out on the marketplace.
Really?
Yeah.
I found it. No, I've looked in stores. So
Ring is battery powered, isn't it?
They have both. That's what I'm saying. They have both. But when I've gone into retail, maybe it's just the Best Buys I'm going to. It seems like they always have the wired ones in stock. And it could just be because everybody likes the battery powered more because they're easier to install. You don't have to mess with all the wires. But
Yeah. No, it seems like I'm pretty sure there's a healthy amount of battery powered ones out there that are really easy to install.
Yeah.
Covered.
You could
Damn
probably
it.
you could probably think of something else. And
Security wise,
I think security is the biggest thing about I think when people think smart homes,
garage doors.
Is there garage doors?
Those have been around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You get one that talks to your phone and make sure you put it down when you think you forgot it.
Yeah. The biggest thing I like about smart home stuff is just if you ever forget something or if you're on a week-long vacation, you can turn lights on randomly. Make it seem like someone's there, I guess.
Yeah.
At least.
Well,
or
you
you
can
can
do-
put them on the timers and stuff every day. You can keep your routine going.
Yep. And you could do indoor cameras. I mean, like, I
Yeah.
kind of wonder if the baby monitor market's going to go just totally into the, Google indoor cameras, Amazon indoor cameras. You can talk to them. You can talk through them. It's high quality video. It's right there on your phone. You don't have to have a separate monitor for it.
Yeah.
And this would be a big downfall, though. If the McAllisters had had a full smart home, Home Alone never would have happened.
Isn't there an ad? I think there's an ad with him using smart home stuff.
Oh,
As an
really?
adult now, they like recreate a small little advertisement for Home Alone, and it's him using smart, like the vacuum has like some sort of contraption on it, like deterring away people from getting into the house and stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, so security-wise, we've talked about some stuff. I mean, convenience-wise, obviously, that's a big deal. Some of it's obviously a toy. The lights are a toy. I want to put on Bears colors in my kitchen pendants while I watch the game. That stuff's kind of silly, but it's kind of fun to do. So, a lot of different usages for the stuff. Water sensing, though. I mean, water sensing stuff, fireproofing stuff. Again, back to just home security, home problem prevention stuff. It's pretty neat forefront out there that we got going on, and it's all really pretty easy to install. So as far as prepping your new home, there's not a ton that you have to do, and a lot of users can install and use this stuff pretty easy.